History is full of bizarre, seemingly impossible coincidences. When coincidences strike, most people find themselves divided in two camps: those inclined to dismiss such events as random, and those who sense meaning or a larger pattern behind them. Here, we've compiled the most surprising coincidences of all time. Check out 5 stories that may sound unbelievable but are true. Number 5. First World War began with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. The prince was shot in his car in Sarajevo on 20th of June, 1914, which in turn triggered a series of events leading to the First World War. The license plate of the car in which he was riding at that time of his death was all 118. Pulling the digits apart differently can be interpreted as A11, 11, 18. First World War officially ended on the Armistice Day. Armistice was signed on 11th of November, 1918, or 11-11-18. Number 4. Adolf Hitler was born 129 years after Napoleon Bonaparte. Hitler's rise of power took place 129 years after Napoleon's. Hitler invaded Russia 129 years after Napoleon, and Hitler was ultimately defeated 129 years after the defeat of Napoleon. Adolf Hitler and Napoleon Bonaparte both wanted to rule the entire world. Both men failed to conquer the country Russia. Both attacked Russia and lost badly. Both Adolf Hitler and Napoleon Bonaparte had served in the military before they became political candidates for their own countries. Both came to power from unlikely backgrounds as they were outsiders. Napoleon, a Corsica-based Italian, ruled France, and Hitler, an Austrian, ruled Germany. Number 3. The first and last soldiers from World War I. The first and last British soldiers killed in the First World War are buried in the Belgium's Saint Symphorien Cemetery. Their graves are located just 6 meters apart and their tombstones face each other, which is a major coincidence considering that this arrangement was not planned at all. By the time First World War came to an end, it had claimed an estimated 1 million British lives. Yet somehow, without any planning, the first recorded English casualty of the war, 17-year-old soldier John Parr, and the last recorded casualty, 30-year-old George Edwin Ellison, reportedly have graves that face one another just 15 feet apart in the Saint Symphorien Military Cemetery. Number 2. One woman survived the Titanic, Britannic, and Olympic shipwrecks. Quote-unquote Miss Unsinkable Violet Jessup was on board in 3 gigantic sister ships, Titanic, Olympic, and Britannic, when disaster struck them, and she lived to tell the tale. Violet Jessup was a nurse and an ocean liner stewardess who earned the nickname quote-unquote Miss Unsinkable by surviving both the accidents of the Titanic in 1912 and its sister ship, the HMHS Britannic, which met the same fate in 1916. Jessup was also reportedly on board in a third boat, the RMS Olympic, when it hit a warship, but fortunately, the Olympic stayed afloat. Number 1. The strange coincidences between 2 American presidents, Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Abraham Lincoln was elected in Congress in 1846, while John F. Kennedy was elected in Congress in 1946. Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected the president in 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both of their wives lost their children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both were shot in the head. Both were shot in the presence of their wives. Abraham Lincoln's secretary named Kennedy warned him not to go to the theater. John F. Kennedy's secretary named Lincoln warned him not to go to Dallas. Both were assassinated by Southerners, while both were also succeeded by Southerners. Both successors were named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808, while Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. Abraham Lincoln's assassin, John Wilkes Booth, was born in 1839. John F. Kennedy's assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was born in 1939. Both assassins were known by their 3 names. Both their names are comprised of 15 letters. Abraham Lincoln's assassin, John Wilkes Booth, ran from the theater and was caught in a warehouse. John F. Kennedy's assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Both assassins were assassinated before their trials.